Welcome back to Theresa.is.Dead. My name is Theresa and I'm very much alive. And if you're new here, welcome. I have an awful garbage mouth, and if you're not into that or weird shit in general, then this is not the place for you. Feel free to exit the video here, no harm, no foul, but I'll remember our time fondly. If you want to jump straight to the swatches and the overall review of the products, I'll leave a time code down below. Feel free to jump ahead. Guys, I normally hate the subway, right? I fucking hate it because I usually have some random asshole ask me something really crazy and stupid and I'm just not in the mood, you know? But today was one of those days where it was just fucking precious. It was awesome and I loved every second of it. Lately the trains have been fairly on the empty side, and the only reason why is because it's a holiday. But today the train was fairly crowded, which kind of sucked, but whatever. There was a spot that I noticed that was on the other end of the car. So on the end of the car there is 3 seats here, and connecting door that is usually locked. So I leaned up on the connecting door because both sections were filled. So I'm leaning on this door, listening to music, playing Candy Crush, living my best life. When I notice the song ends, I overhear the people on the right of me say,
"How the fuck are we gonna have pizza with him?"
What? This piqued my interest, so I paused my music and I listened up. And I know you're probably saying, you're fucking nosy. You goddamn right I am. Anyone who says a line like that demands to be listened to, okay? I, of course, try not to make it super obvious, you know, because I don't want them to stop their conversation because I want to hear every goddamn word they're saying. So I positioned myself where my ear is directly towards them and I'm just playing my game to show that I'm obviously way too busy to be listening to their conversation. I'm a fucking idiot. Anyway.
I don't know how we're gonna tell that motherfucker he can't eat pizza with us.
So it was a conversation between a guy and a girl.
We can't have pizza with that motherfucker. He killed people.
I don't know what we're gonna do. We have to eat pizza with him.
But he killed fucking people.
But we need to eat pizza with him. It won't look right if we don't eat pizza with him.
See, this is the shit that happens when you're hanging out all night. You fucking kill people and then you can't eat pizza with them.
First of all, this conversation got so intense that I was actually starting to get a little scared. Like, oh my god, what if they fucking know that I'm listening? Like, oh no. Oh god. In any case, they got off like one stop later and I was so pissed. I just wanted to follow them home and to kind of learn more about this guy that they don't want to eat pizza with because he murders people. But I mean, I guess I don't blame them, because why would you want to eat pizza with somebody that murders people? But then if you don't eat pizza with him, wouldn't he want to murder you? Anyway, this is the fun stuff that you can hear on the subway and more. This is actually probably one of my favorite. One time I actually heard someone talk about how they scam Medicaid. That was up there, but I think this murdering pizza actually just beat it. So yeah, that happened. How was your commute to work? On today's video, we're going to be talking about the Paulina palette by Blush Tribe Cosmetics. And before I give you my overall thoughts, let me read you a little bit about the palette. The Paulina palette retails for $28 US. A stunning palette consisting of 9 gorgeous, large 36mm pans containing vivid colors and 3 shimmers and 6 mattes. The Paulina palette you were all waiting for is finally here. The first palette that I ever purchased from Blush Tribe is actually the Fall Fusion palette, which I did a review on it not that long ago, and I'll definitely link it up in the corner if you haven't seen it already. So I was super excited to, one, again, support this indie company and also support Paulina. Now, with that said, even though I like Paulina very much, it doesn't change the fact that I'm going to be truthfully and brutally honest about her palette, because one, I like to think that you guys trust me and you know that I'm no bullshit, because there are a million and one other YouTubers out here that can pretty much just lie to your face all day, every day. And I'm not about that. I am like you guys. I just want to know if something's good or not. That's really it. Even though I'm very friendly with her, if I don't like it, I'm going to say that I don't like it. So I just want to kind of throw that out there. And before I actually go into my whole review, I do want to mention something that happened on Instagram about this palette. And I know I mentioned it very briefly when I was reviewing the Fall Fusion palette, but when this palette was featured on Trend Mood's page, you know, a lot of people commented that, oh, this is Juvia's Place knockoff and blah, 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 which to me is bullshit, because while yes, they have similar pan size, their color stories are completely different, their quality is completely different, and their artwork is completely different. So that's one thing people should know. Second thing is, someone mentioned that this was an Illuminati palette. So Paulina, if you are a part of the Illuminati, please let me know. I would love to be a part of your guys' gang. I understand there's some perks and that sounds amazing. So no, I kid. But someone mentioned that they weren't going to support this because she had her fucking hand covering her face. You know, I really worry about our generation. I really do. In any case, so that was the other little drama about this, and it's completely so fucking stupid. So with that said, I was so excited to purchase this, not only to support Paulina, but also supporting that smaller YouTubers have the opportunity of having dream collaborations like this. You know, yes, it could be an indie brand or it could be a big brand. Who knows what it could be? But the point is that this is a possibility, and I like that. I also want to support indie companies because, like I mentioned many, many times in the past, usually indie companies are better than most big companies. So with that said, congratulations, Paulina. I really, really hope and wish nothing but the best for this palette release, as well as to you, Blush Tribe. I'm very proud and very happy for you because this is an awesome feat, and not a lot of people can say that they can do something like this. So with that said, what do I think about it? For $28, you get this really awesome looking palette. I really like Blush Tribe's just overall kind of graphic, pop arty kind of design. It's really cool. I love the cover of this palette because it speaks to what is in the palette. So not only is Paulina on the front, but Paulina is also on the cover here, and you get a beautiful array of greens, purples, and pinks. The one thing I want to mention straight off the bat is that if you do own the Fall Fusion palette, there are 2 shades in here that are also in this palette, and those are the shades Paulina and Aubergine. This is the shade Aubergine here, and then Paulina down here. But what I do want to point out is that while I own both of these palettes, I feel like they're actually 2 different colors. You could tell, like this one is a lot darker than this one. This is more of like a gray purple color, while this is more of like a deep purple color. And the same thing also goes for the Paulina shade. The Paulina shade here is very pink and kind of packs a punch. And this one, while it's very pink, in comparison, you can see there's a difference. So this is the Fall Fusion, and I really hope my lights are not washing this out, but this is the Fall Fusion, and this is the Paulina. Also, don't mind the discolorization of this hand. I have very dry skin right now because it's winter, so that's why it looks a little fucked up. So the other thing I do want to note too is that the difference between the Fall Fusion palette and the Paulina palette is that I actually like the feeling of the eyeshadows a little bit better in this palette, specifically when swatching Aubergine and Paulina. This one, while they swatch fine, I have really no issue with it. Compared to this one, it's not as smooth as this one. I still think that they offer excellent pigment on both ends. To me, it's very clear the tone of this is a little bit brighter than this one. So with that said, I do want to kind of throw that out there. The other thing about the Fall Fusion palette is that I really liked, I think, the mattes more than I did the shimmers. I think specifically the gold shimmer I didn't really have a good time with. I didn't know how I was going to feel about the shimmers in this palette. I have to say I love the 3 shimmers that are in this palette, which is Soleil, Thingaling, and Salma. They're beautiful. They are absolutely stunning. There is a little bit of fallout with them, and I did not use them with glitter glue, but I did use it with setting spray, and I used it with a felt tip applicator. And I noticed that it definitely limited the amount of fallout, but there was still a little bit of fallout with the shimmer shades, but nothing too crazy, nothing that you really can't wipe away with a makeup wipe, so keep that in mind. I think the things that I'm like super impressed about though is the matte shades. The matte shades are very creamy, they're very smooth, they have beautiful pigment, there's little to no fallout, like none, especially comparing them to the shimmer shades. There is great buildup. I actually like them a little bit more than I did the Fall Fusion palette. Not to say that I'm not going to use my Fall Fusion palette again, because I really do love this palette. There's some really beautiful fall colors in this, but in terms of quality, I think I like this palette a little bit more. Now, the other thing I have to say, in the sea of greens, which I hope is going to be like the new color this year, all these greens are fantastic. And it was the reason why I wanted to purchase this palette in general, is because I was obsessed with these greens. Yes, the pinks and the purples were fine too, but in reality, I was just doing it for the greens. I was happy to say that I did my last video, which was about what I got for Christmas or whatever. If you haven't seen that, I'll link it up in the corner here. I created a look using all these colors, and I had so many compliments of people asking like, what's on your face? What's on your face? And I was so happy to say that it was Blush Tribe, because this is some really, really good quality. I love the 2 looks that I created with this. Granted, I wish I did another look, only because I feel like I kind of segregated the palette a little bit. Like I just use only greens, or I just use only pinks and purples. But what I love about this is that you can definitely mix and match and change up your looks. It's just, today I was kind of just really feeling a green swamp thing. But I do have a little bit of like a purple highlighter kind of in the inner corner. And I think what Paulina picked in the terms of her colors, it's a beautiful color story, and it speaks very well to her and the looks that she creates. When I first opened this palette, and this is from someone who loves green eyeshadows, I was kind of questioning the fact of, do you really need these 2 greens? You know, because they're really not that different. However, on the eyelid, they're very different. It's actually kind of unbelievable. While they do look very similar in the pan, they both act very differently, and you can actually use them in such a way that you can tell that they are each its own separate color. What's cool about this color over here, Solely, it's like this really pretty like seafoam green, almost blue sort of reflect. I love this shade. It's so goddamn pretty. I mean, I love how reflective it is. So that's why I really like this eye look, is that yes, it's technically an all green eye for the most part, but putting this kind of seafoam green down here, it actually almost kind of has a little bit of a blue reflect to it, which I think is really pretty. So you can see like it kind of has like the appearance of like a little bit of like a baby ice blue. Ah, I love it. I love it so much. It's so pretty. And I actually like that the lime green almost kind of can double as a little bit of a yellow. So I feel like the best kind of sea creature monster. So fucking pretty. I love it. I'm really happy to have this palette in my collection. I think it's beautiful. The other thing I do want to say is that while I do really enjoy this palette, this is definitely a companion piece because this is basically a palette full of pops of color. And while yes, you can create a full look just using this palette, I think if you work in a conservative kind of area, this is going to be really hard to pull off. So keep that in mind, that these are just going to be more of your pops of colors. I think the price point's pretty good for $28. Yeah, the shipping totally sucks on it. I'm not gonna lie about that because it's $10 of shipping, especially to the US, but what are you gonna do? Like, it's coming from a different country, so I have to kind of shut the hell up about it at this point. Other than the shipping costs, I don't have a bad thing to say about this palette. I think if you were on the fence about this palette, I don't think necessarily you should be. This is an awesome buy. Yes, the shipping cost sucks, but other than that, I think it's totally worth the money. And you're also supporting a smaller brand. In this day and age, we should support smaller companies because, like I keep saying, they are usually better than the bigger companies. Again, congratulations to Blush Tribe and Paulina. You guys did a wonderful job in this palette, and it actually makes me excited to see what's going to come in 2019 with this brand. So let me know down below if you have both of these palettes, and if you have like the same kind of issue with the two shades Paulina and Aubergine, if you notice that there's a little bit of a difference in it, because I wonder if it's only my palette or whatever. Or let me know down below if you're interested in picking up this palette, or if you have it, what your thoughts are. Do you love it? You hate it? Whatever. Always curious to know. And yeah, I guess that's about it. So I want to say thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate it as always. Feel free to like, comment, hit that subscribe button. It's free. And hit that bell icon for notification of all my future posts. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, Subways, whatever. And I'll see you little pumpkins later. Bye.